you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Jessie and I make videos all about houseplants and I release them on Mondays. So if you would like to subscribe to this channel, that would be amazing. You can go ahead and do that. In today's video, I would like to talk a little bit about some of the more controversial houseplant opinions that I have. And I kind of based this video off of being in a lot of different houseplant groups on Facebook. And I'm like a lurker in those groups. I love to just like read through all the like comments of people just like essentially I love to like lurk in those groups and just like essentially like read through all the comments of people like honestly just bullying each other over houseplants. It's kind of like drama central over there all the time. So I like to read the comments. I do not participate in the bullying or the getting bullied. I just like to be an observer. And so I've seen a lot of different opinions about houseplants and things like that, that they kind of like helped me form my own opinions. So yeah, today I just want to talk about like my opinions on plants, and I'm gonna save the most controversial one for the end of the video, so stick around for that because I'm a little nervous to talk about it, but we'll get there when we get there. So let's go ahead and get right into it. First opinion that I want to talk about, I actually got from watching a Nick Alexander video here on YouTube. I was just like casually watching his videos, and I'll link his channel down below if you'd like to go check it out. This opinion is absolutely no hate to him at all. He seems really fun and really lovely. But he said in one of his videos that he views grow lights and humidifiers as cheating. So he doesn't have any grow lights in his house, he doesn't have any humidifiers in his house. And I just have to say that I very strongly disagree with that. And for me, the key to having good houseplants, especially when you're approaching like the 100 or hundreds number of houseplants, for me, it has been so key to have grow lights and my humidifier. And I have seen my plants be exponentially better and thrive way more when I added grow lights and my humidifier. So for me, it's like I understand. Actually, honestly, I don't know. I would never consider it cheating. I don't know. Like for me, plants are my joy. Like they're my hobby, and I want to do everything that I can do in my home to make my home the best for them because I like taking care of them. So I've had very cheap grow lights in the past that have worked honestly very well. I talked about those grow lights before. I get them on Amazon for like $15 for the bulb, $10 for the cord. They work great. I recently did upgrade to a Soltech grow light, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a couple upcoming videos, but you can get grow lights very cheaply. You can even get humidifiers very cheaply, and for me, I feel like that has been the one thing that has upped my plant game a lot. Like I used to kill plants all the time when I was first starting out. And once I did invest in grow lights and a humidifier, I feel like it just took me and my plants over the top. So if you're somebody that has been like, oh, I don't want to get a grow light because it's like cheating, whatever. If you need my permission, which you don't, I would just say you should do it. The next opinion that I have about houseplants is kind of related to price shaming. That's kind of where I fully formed this opinion, because if you're a member of a bunch of Facebook houseplant groups, you will see people really ragging on other people for what they list their houseplants for, so like price-wise. And so I guess my opinion on this would just be that plants are not, like they don't have an actual monetary value. It's all fully subjective. So plants are really worth what people think that they're worth. Like if you have a plant that you've grown for 5 years, 10 years, and you've put a lot of love into it and you really like adore the plant, it might be worth more to you than it is to somebody else. So for me, I just really disagree with people like price shaming other people on the internet. Which is not to say that like if you're somebody that knows that your plant is worth like a lot less, don't take advantage of people. Like don't try and scam people. Obviously, like I don't agree with people getting scammed. But I just want to say that like if you're somebody that sees somebody charging what you think is too much money for a plant, just like don't say anything. Just like move on with your day, because to that person, the plant might be worth that, and maybe to somebody else, another buyer, that plant is worth that price to them as well. And I just see a lot of people like really bullying other people online about like what other people list their houseplants for, and it's really all subjective. Like there is no like guidebook for how to price your plants, so it just kind of is what it is. So I don't know, I really just don't agree with price shaming people. The next thing that I have to say, my next controversial opinion, is that it is totally okay to spend a lot of money on a plant if it really means something to you. So again, on Facebook, I see a lot of times people be like, what's the most money you've ever spent on a plant? And people will be like, $20. I would never spend more than $20 on a plant. That is ridiculous, blah, blah. And that's fine for you. Like, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with feeling that way. And honestly, like, I do get that sentiment because plants are literally like, they're leaves. Like, if you don't want to spend a lot of money on them, literally don't. But I don't think it's really fair to shame people for spending a lot of money on plants, because if you have a hobby, like, people will spend like thousands of dollars on, I don't know, let's just say like camera equipment, video games, like whatever your hobby is. It's totally fine to do that because that's what brings you joy. So again, like I said in the beginning, you don't need my permission to do anything, but if for some reason you needed to feel a little comforted in the fact that like you spend a lot of money on plants, just know that like if that's what truly brings you joy and you're not like killing your bank account, you're not like in dire financial straits, then you should be okay with that. And if you're somebody who bullies people on the internet for spending a lot of money on plants, just don't do that. Just don't do that. The next opinion I'm a little scared to say because I know a lot of people really love these plants, but I personally think that Calatheas need to stop being sold to people. And I obviously don't think they should stop being sold, like they are beautiful plants, but Calatheas are so frequently marketed as like easy care plants, just put in bright and direct light and they'll thrive. Like Lowe's, every local nursery sells them, and like I've killed many Calatheas, like literally so many Calatheas, and if you've had Calatheas, you probably know that pretty much every variety of Calathea is so far from an easy care plant. This kind of harkens back to like the humidifier. Like if you don't have a humidifier, you're probably gonna kill your Calatheas. Like there's not really any getting around that. They need such high humidity. They need even distilled water. I mean, some people do tap water with their Calatheas and they're fine, but they get those like brown crispy tips. They're like such magnets for spider mites. I've killed 2 or 3, I think, just to spider mites. And I just don't, like, I feel so sad when I see people posting about their Calatheas being like, how can I save it? And you like look at the pictures, like it's like dead. Because they're sold to people like with like misconceptions. So, I mean, obviously I don't think that Calatheas should like stop being sold altogether, but I do think that like nurseries and like Lowe's, Home Depot, I think they're doing people like a real disservice by marketing them kind of wrongly, because they're not really for everybody. Like most people will kill Calatheas unless they have specific experience with them, and I'm not gonna buy another Calathea in a long time unless I know that I have like the exact perfect conditions for it, because they just die. Like they're just like doomed to fail. My final controversial opinion, this is the one that I have been the most sort of nervous to discuss, so if you stuck around to the end of this video, thanks for being here. And that is that I wrote on my list, my notes for this video, I just wrote, Costa Farms sucks. So let me explain. If you don't know who Costa Farms is, they are probably the biggest mass manufacturer of plants in the United States. They sell all of those like tropical collections or like tropical foliages that you see in like most Home Depot, Lowe's, like even grocery stores, where they're in like those like round, probably 6-inch pots. Very commonly right now, the most sought after plants that they have are those Rhaphidophora hays, the ones that like climb up the stake. And then also they recently released the Trabui Scindapsus, the moonlight variety. So what I mean when I say is they suck, because I feel like I'm nervous to say this because I know a lot of people love them, but I just do not like the business practices associated with Costa Farms. Now, this is personally just my opinion, so Costa Farms, don't sue me. Over here getting 200 views, they're gonna sue me. But like Costa Farms puts their plants on like essentially like a monopoly. Like if you know anything about ZZ Ravens, they used to be very, very rare. Like they used to be like extremely rare plants that you'd have to pay a lot of money for. And Costa Farms got like the patent for them, and now they restrict any local nursery, any big box store, any Etsy seller from selling them. So that's not to say that some don't and like break those rules, but they have sued and can sue like small little businesses for selling ZZ Ravens, specifically because they're the ones that now mass produce them. And to me, that just doesn't sit right with me. I feel like plants should be able to be shared, and I don't know. I'm not saying that there's something wrong with a patent, because I have seen counter arguments online with people being like, oh, these growers, like they put in so much work to have all these new varieties and they deserve for that to be protected. And I do understand that argument, and I'm not saying that that argument is wrong, but just for me, it feels like it takes a little bit of the joy and the fun and the value out of plants when you can go to any grocery store and buy like all of these plants that used to be super unique. So it is important, obviously, for plants to be accessible to people. So that's really cool. Like on one hand, it's very cool that, you know, you can go to like any store and buy a ZZ Raven, but I don't know, just something doesn't sit right with me about like big business in general. And so I just really try not to support Costa Farms if I can avoid it. I have in the past. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that I have never bought one of their plants. I absolutely have. And if you buy plants, you probably have too, even like inadvertently, because they really mass produce plants. But I just don't love the idea of mass producing plants. And I just, to me, like loving houseplants is like a small, like private kind of hobby that I appreciate, and I like supporting small businesses with my dollar. So I don't know, I'm scared to say that because I do feel like some people are going to disagree with me, but I don't really care. You can disagree with me. In fact, I encourage it. Leave a comment down below letting me know how much you disagree with me. Alright you guys, that is going to be the end of this video. If you stuck around to the end, I just want to say thank you so much. If you would like to leave a comment down below letting me know anything you want to see from me, like any houseplant ideas, like video ideas that you want to see, please do that. I usually ask in all of my videos, but sometimes people don't say anything, and that's fine. But leave a comment down below if you would like to, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!